cars pull up at the same red light. On the left, a brand new SUV. Blacked out windows, paint so fresh it still smells like the dealership. On the right, a beat-up sedan with a cracked side mirror and a fast food bag on the floor. Quick, which driver do you think has more money in the bank? You already picked one. Almost everyone does. And here's the twist nobody wants to hear. In 2026, the smarter bet is the beat-up sedan. Statistically, the person in the shiny SUV is more likely one paycheck from disaster. The person in the junky sedan is more likely sitting on real savings. So why does the world work backwards from how we imagine it? Why do the people who look the richest often have the least, while the people quietly getting wealthy go out of their way to look broke? That's what this video is about. Looking poor on purpose might be the smartest financial habit nobody teaches you. Let's break down why. Start with who's actually behind the wheel of that flashy SUV, because it's not who you think. Heading into this year, roughly 6 out of 10 Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. That's already rough. But here's the number that should really stop you. Nearly 4 out of 10 people earning 6 figures a year were also living paycheck to paycheck. High earners, the people we assume have it all figured out, broke by the end of every month. Look at where the money actually goes. The typical household now spends close to $6,500 a month just existing. Food, housing, bills, before a single luxury gets added. Meanwhile, the average person is only saving around 4.5% of what they make, less than half of what past generations saved. More than half of adults couldn't cover a surprise $1,000 bill without going into debt. A quarter have zero emergency savings.
That's the real story hiding under all those car payments and vacation photos. A lot of these people aren't overspending because they're careless. Basic living costs have simply eaten almost everything they earn. So next time you feel a pang of envy looking at someone's new car, remember, there's a real chance that person is barely holding it together behind the wheel. Here's the part almost nobody connects. Loud wealth and real wealth are almost never the same person. We've just been trained our whole lives to mix them up. Why do we keep falling for it? Because spending was never really about the object. It's about status. For most of human history, status signals meant survival. Who had resources? Who was safe to align with? That wiring never left us. It just got redirected toward watches, logos, kitchen renovations, and perfectly angled vacation photos. We're not buying things. We're buying a story we hope other people tell about us. But here's the catch. Everyone else is performing too. So you're dressing up for an audience that's too busy adjusting their own costume to notice yours. Economists call this the hedonic treadmill. You buy the nicer car, feel a spike of happiness for a few weeks, and then it becomes your new normal. The excitement fades, so you chase the next upgrade to feel that spark again. You're sprinting, but the scenery never changes. And the treadmill speeds up the more you earn. That's lifestyle inflation. And it's exactly what's quietly wrecking those 6-figure earners living paycheck to paycheck. Their income climbed. Their spending climbed right along with it, then crept past it. There's a ripple effect underneath this too. Buy one nice thing, and everything around it starts to look shabby by comparison. A beautiful new sofa suddenly makes the coffee table look wrong, so that goes too. Then the rug, then the curtains. One upgrade quietly demands a dozen more. Move into a nicer neighborhood, and the same pressure shows up. The right car, the right vacations, the right school. People who actually build wealth learn to spot this chain reaction early and refuse to pull the first domino. Because the real cost of any purchase isn't the price tag. It's everything that purchase quietly forces you to buy next.
Now, let's put hard numbers on what looking rich actually costs, because it's brutal. Take cars, the most obvious status symbol in America. Late last year, the average price paid for a new vehicle crossed $50,000, and the average monthly payment hit almost $770, an all-time record. To make that survivable, people are stretching loans past 6 years, and nearly 1 in 5 new car loans now carries a payment north of $1,000 a month. Most of those aren't exotic sports cars. They're ordinary trucks and SUVs bought by regular people chasing the feeling of having made it. Meanwhile, that car loses value the moment it leaves the lot, often 20% or more in year one alone. Stretch the loan out far enough, and there's a long stretch where you owe more than the car is worth. Multiply that across the country, and Americans now owe over $1.6 trillion in car debt. The exact thing we treat as proof we've made it has become one of the biggest anchors dragging households down. Now, here's the calculation almost nobody runs. Take that average car payment, call it $750 a month. Instead of financing a shiny new car, imagine driving something paid off and boring and investing that $750 every month into a simple index fund instead. At a normal long-term return, that grows to over $100,000 in just 10 years. Keep it going for 30 years, and you're looking at close to $1 million. The real choice was never nice car versus boring car. It was nicer car now versus damn near $1 million later. Every dollar spent looking wealthy is a dollar that can never grow into actual wealth. The younger you are when this clicks, the bigger the gap becomes, because time does the heavy lifting. Someone at 25 who skips the flashy car and invests the difference instead isn't just saving money. They're quietly buying back years of their future life. By their 50s, that's not a nice to have. That's the difference between still needing to work and getting to walk. The same trap hides in houses. A bigger home isn't just a bigger mortgage. It's more property tax, more insurance, more heating and cooling, more furniture to fill rooms you didn't need in the first place. One decision quietly multiplies into a dozen. People who actually build wealth tend to run this math before they buy, which is why so many of them live in homes far more modest than their bank accounts could afford. That bill doesn't always wait years to show up either. Sometimes it arrives monthly, with interest attached. Americans are carrying over $1 trillion in credit card debt at average rates north of 20%. Finance a lifestyle on a card, and you're not just paying for the item. You're paying the bank extra for the privilege of pretending you could afford it. So here's the number that changes everything. Net worth. Income is loud. Net worth is silent. And the gap between the two in America is staggering. The typical household's real net worth sits around $190,000, but the reported average gets dragged up near $1 million because a small number of extremely wealthy households skew it. Most people own far less than their driveway and living room suggest. And here's the line worth remembering. Your savings rate predicts your future wealth better than your income ever will. A high earner who saves nothing often ends up poorer in retirement than a modest earner who quietly invested a fifth of everything they made. So, what do genuinely wealthy people actually do instead? Researchers have found that most households earning well over $200,000 a year don't drive luxury brands at all. They drive the same ordinary cars as everyone else. A famous study of American millionaires found something similar. Most car buyers sink close to a third of their net worth into vehicles. Actual millionaires spend around 1%. They buy used, buy reliable, and drive it into the ground. The pattern holds everywhere you look. Most millionaires never earned six figures in a single year. Most built their wealth themselves instead of inheriting it. It's not a story about huge salaries. It's a story about ordinary income paired with unusual discipline. The moment people stop spending money to look wealthy is the exact moment they finally have money to actually become wealthy. This is turning into a full cultural shift. Among truly wealthy people, flashy logos are starting to read as insecurity, not success. The new status symbol is the absence of one. A plain, well-made coat with no branding. A quality watch only a collector would notice. And this same instinct is spreading through everyday life, too. As more people quietly choose to repair instead of replace, buy the practical version instead of the flashy one, and route the difference into actual savings. Here's the single most important idea in all of this: income is not wealth. Income is water through the faucet. Wealth is what you actually keep in the tank. A person can have a huge faucet and a cracked tank, spending every dollar as fast as it arrives. They look rich and own almost nothing. Someone else can have a modest faucet and a sealed tank, quietly investing a real slice of everything they earn and end up far wealthier. The flashy SUV tells you about someone's faucet. It tells you nothing about their tank. And the real prize isn't even the size of the tank. It's what that tank lets you do. Can you leave a job that's burning you out? Can you take time off for your family? Can you say no to money that conflicts with your values? That kind of freedom only belongs to people who built a real gap between what they earn and what they spend. Every flashy purchase is a quiet trade. You're swapping future freedom for present appearance. Sometimes that trade is worth it. Most of the time, it isn't. So if you want the actual playbook, stop upgrading your lifestyle every time your income rises. Let the gap widen instead. Automate your savings so it leaves your account before you ever see it. Keep using what you already own until it actually breaks, not until something shinier shows up. And before buying anything big, try it, rent it, or borrow it first so you're not stuck footing the bill for a hobby that fades in 3 weeks. The people quietly building real wealth aren't chasing applause. They're chasing freedom. And freedom, it turns out, looks a lot more like a dented sedan than a blacked out SUV. If this video shifted how you see money even a little, hit subscribe, because next week we're breaking down exactly how to build that gap between what you earn and what